Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Melia here. Very late, Pat O'Melia. We have to wait for the street sweeper. I may have to change the time of the show, so I have to wait outside for the street sweeper. Plus, we had to pick up a cable. We got another show following me in today. We have the JCMUA Town Hall live. We have the directors here from JCMUA, and they'll be taking your questions. They'll be talking about the projects they've done. They've done quite a few projects in Jersey City, in particular Summit Avenue, Sip Avenue, and Garfield Avenue. Those were two huge projects. I'm sure Joe and Richie will be talking about that. But we also wanted to make sure we had one faulty cable here. We wanted to take care of that. But waiting for the sweeper problems. I may have to move the start time for this show because the sweeper's supposed to roll around there at 1. They don't get there at 1. But you see what happens. I was watching them today. Again, the studio's in North Bergen. And I'm watching the sweeper. And you know the sweeper's coming, people. There's like 5 cars out there. They're hitting the buzzer. Beep, beep, beep. People aren't coming, except one guy in a white Jeep. After the ticket was written, the guy sliding it under the windshield wiper, the owner of the Jeep pops up. Too late. You know it's coming, and they're buzzing. You got to hear the buzzer. So if you have a lot of cars that aren't moving, they got to stop and write the tickets, that slows them up. So they were slowed up today. So hence, that's why I'm late getting here. I'm here, just late getting into the studio. And I wanted to make sure we had the cable because I sacrificed myself for the following show to come in. I'm a decent person. So listen, let's break for commercial. You're listening to the City Show here on CGR Radio via Live 365. We'll talk about Live 365 when I come back. We'll be right back.
Comprehensive healthcare is here, here, and here. RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its 2 newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
We're back. City Show here. Pat O'Melia here. Remember what I said about Live 365? If you have the time, tell your friends of that. Download the Live 365 app. There's a lot of programming on there besides me and my shows, but more importantly, it's so late. Like I said, go to Live 365, download the app, keep it on your phone, keep it on your Alexa, keep it on wherever you have to keep it on, and enjoy the shows. Tomorrow, we have the NJCU, the university's coming in. They're doing a show. They'll be talking about all the programs that are available at the school. They just signed an agreement for sports. I think the studio is going to be working with the students at NJCU. We're working with high school students now, teaching them video production and radio. Maybe prompt video production and radio for people that are here on time. Well, let's get the show. Let's get the show rolling. Finally, we have some fireworks going on between the candidates for Democratic primary. Not a lot going in the Republican primary. Citarelli is so far ahead of Spadia and Bramnick that it's almost an afterthought who's going to win. Unless Spadia can get Trump to give him an endorsement, it ain't going to work out for Bill Spadia. I don't know where he goes from there. Eric Scott has taken his place there on the radio in the morning and is doing a very good job of it. So I don't think there's a place at NJ 101.5 for Bill now, unless he wants to start from the bottom and work your way back up again. On the Democratic side, and like I said with Trump, before I get to the Democratic side, he's not going to waste an endorsement on somebody that's like 30-some-odd points behind. Trump doesn't need the losses in the primary. So he probably sits this one out as Citarelli and Spadia argue back and forth of who's the bigger MAGA. Who's the bigger MAGA? Citarelli, Spadia, and then you see some of these commercials. Some of these commercials get pretty interesting, where they're saying that Spadia was he was a fake MAGA. No, he was real, but he was realistic. There were listen. Everything Trump did the first time wasn't perfect. Everything Trump does the second time is not going to be perfect. There is criticism, and Spadia gave some criticism, and now those words are coming back to bite him. But that's what happens when you're in radio. Mikei Sherill came out swinging. She was punching on Fulop. Boom, boom, hitting that Marine, the helicopter lady, hitting the Marine. She came out saying that Fulop's corruption has caught up with him. Let me say a couple things. First of all, I think Sherill is now running scared because, Fulop, he's a name in Jersey City. He's a name in Hudson County. He's got very good name value, I guess, throughout New Jersey. But Sherill came in, him and Sherill and Gottheimer. And really, it was disingenuous. They're running for Congress. Oh, send me to Congress. I'll fight Donald Trump. We'll do this in Congress, do that in Congress. We'll protect your Social Security, blah, 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 blah. As soon as they're elected, send me to Trenton. Send me to Trenton. We'll fight Trump. You want to fight Trump. It's a lot easier to fight him when you're in D.C., Trenton. But the two of them, they kind of went to the head of the class right off the bat. Like I said before, I don't know what happened with Gottheimer, but that's just somebody grabbed him by the back of the collar and just pulled him back. Well, I do kind of like the commercial he's doing, AI generator, where he's boxing Trump. I don't even know what the big fascination is with Trump. Trump's not your issue right now. Gottheimer, Sherill, and even Steve Fulop. But Steve's got the boxing gloves, can't send a lightweight to fight a heavyweight. Your situation is New Jersey, New Jersey, New Jersey, New Jersey. Your situation is school taxes, property taxes, crime, development. Did I say taxes? Property taxes? Did I say property taxes? We've got to make New Jersey affordable. We've got to make New Jersey business friendly. We are not business friendly. It is a constant go beat up business. It's something. We got schools that are stopping cutting the sports programs. They're selling schools. They're actually selling the schools. You're looking at some school taxes going up 36%. That is the biggest problem facing, and it's affordability. How are we going to fund the schools without, like I said last week, digging into your pocket, ripping through your pocket, going down to your socks, if you got any money in your socks or shoes? That has to stop. Fascinations with Trump. Trump isn't your issue right now. Your issue, all these Dem candidates are each other. And right now, you got to target the number one. And statistically, with the last poll with a plus minus of 5% accuracy, statistically, it's Sherill and Fulop. I think that's why Mikei Sherill attacked Fulop here. Now, she's talking about Fulop's corruption catching up with him. Now, keep in mind, we've had Mayor Fulop for almost 12 years now as Mayor Fulop. We had him as Councilman Fulop for 8 years before that. So we got 20 years of Fulop. I think we know everything. Again, I've been dealing with Fulop since he was on the steps of City Hall with Lindy Cunningham, I guess back in 2002. He was going to run against Rob Menendez Sr. for Congress. I go back. I talk, communicate, text, whatever I do with Steve Fulop on a daily basis. It's really nothing I need to vet with Steve Fulop. And really, the people of Jersey City know that. She's talking about Fulop's corruption. Developers made donations to PACs. Fulop doesn't have any control of those PACs. They're pro-Fulop, but he's not calling any shots. At least that's how that's supposed to work. There was a video. They did a ceremony celebrating 77 years of Israel, and they didn't want any video or a video taken. Really what they didn't want is all the nonsense that comes with any kind of ceremony you have anymore. You got the loonies that show up, protesters. We had somebody locked up at a council meeting in Jersey City. I've gone to some raucous council meetings in Jersey City. We never locked anybody up before. Now, where people are actually making threats to the council people. Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's a problem having community meetings, have civic meetings. So many friggin' loonies out there. Then you got the YouTube bloggers. They're all trying to get as many clicks as possible so they can monetize their YouTube channel. So they try to sensationalize everything with some interesting editing. I like when these YouTubers are addressing the councils or the commissioner boards, and they're not looking at them. They're looking at their camera. Well, I have a problem with this, and I have to look at the people you're talking to. But it's changed so much, and we all have to come, all the councils and the commissioners, all these government entities have to come up with a new way of dealing with the new reality. We're still using the same laws and methods and protocols that were used back in the 60s, 40s, that sort of thing. It's a new world now. Everybody's got their iPhones. Everybody's got the YouTube thing. Everybody's trying to make money being an influencer or a YouTuber or whatever the hell it is. And that's causing problems. Now, when I film at these meetings, I had to extend my insurance. I don't know about these YouTubers. I had to extend the liability insurance of the studio, which is quite pricey, by the way. But after rent, actually, I think my insurance is probably more than my rent's now. Look at that. It's getting so crazy in New Jersey with insurance. For that matter, we're getting a Ford Taurus Connect van. Just waiting for a little more money to come in and pick it up, already put the deposits on it. And it's for the not-for-profit I started to teach the kids studio production and radio production. I'm getting insurance prices on there because I'm going to have high school kids in the car. It's like $800 a month. That's only for 6 months. $800 a month, $4,200. And I'm like, wow, that's quite a lot of money. That's more than I pay for my insurance on my cars, and I have 6 cars. Yes, I'm a crazy person. I have 6 cars. But all my cars have a job. Some of my cars are in Seaside. Some are in Jersey City. This is the one I keep by the studios. I always have a car nearby. If my car breaks down, there's another car for me to jump in and use. So I'm not dependent on Uber or cabs or my friends or something like that. Now, these are the attacks that they're sending on Fulop. That is PACs. The PACs receive donations from developers. The other one I like is that he may have rigged his first election for council. Yeah, they're saying he may have busted in seniors 20 years ago. I don't know. Have candidates bust in seniors? Yes, they have done that quite a bit. You want to offer seniors a ride to get to the voting booth? I think that's fine. And like I said, I've been covering Fulop since he has showed up on those steps of City Hall back with Glendy Cunningham. Steve and I have been on different sides of the issues over the years. We've been in each other's faces. I've warned him about some of his personnel choices over the years. I've asked him many times, well, why the F would you do that? Why hire this person? I'll leave the names quiet, silent here. I had the studio on Central Avenue back then. Steve's in there. We're talking about one of these hires. And I look at him and say, it's going to come back and bite you on the ass. I said, well, I think he's going to do okay. Then there was another one like 2 weeks later that he decided to hire. I said, that one's going to bite you on the ass. Unfortunately, he got 2 cheeks, which unlike 6 months, both of those people bit him on the ass. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes Fulop's right. But, all the years I've been dealing with them, we've had a very good communication. Like I said, we've been on different sides of the issue. I've never known him to lie to me. When it would have been convenient if he just lied to me and said, just get me Pat out of here. That is not how Fulop is. And I'm going to tell you, Steve Fulop's never taken a dime that wasn't his. For that matter, his wife does far better than he does. So if he's going to take a dime, he'll take it off his wife. And if this wasn't Hudson County, I want to remind you, when they talk about corruption in Hudson County, everybody who does it here gets caught. Just look at this. Going back to Mayor Whalen, which was the first political campaign I was ever involved in as a kid. I think I'm like 9 years old, and the family was going Whalen. So I'm dropping off this Whalen crap that stores on Colbert Street in Jersey City, which is now gone. Demoed that out for the new bridge and the overpass. Dropping off, would you vote for Mayor Tom Whalen? This woman had a Doberman pinscher. That Doberman told me bit on the ass. I got bit on the ass by this Doberman. I got bit. Nobody was even concerned about me. They take me for tetanus shots back then? No. They give me a hard time. My jeans were ripped. That should have been a message to me. Don't get involved in politics. Right there as a 9-year-old. Whalen, jail, J.V. Kenny, David Delladonna. Was that Guttenberg? Was he? Yeah, Guttenberg. He took a puppy. And they said it was like a bribe. You took a puppy, you lose your job, go to jail, that sort of thing. Musto in Union City, Dennis Elwell in Secaucus, a whole bunch of the bid rig guys. If you are corrupt, and listen, I'm not saying there's no corruption in Hudson County, Jersey City, because yes, it has. Januszewski. Remember Bobby Januszewski? If you are corrupt in Hudson County or Jersey City, you will be caught. We have a history of corruption, and we have a history of catching that corruption. If Mayor Fulop was corrupt in any sense of the word, he wouldn't be there. Again, honest guy. Secondly, they always focus in on Hudson County. I forget how many people in the bid rig got busted. A lot of them did jail time. And most of them earned that, by the way. There's Salomon Dweck, and they're also friggin' stupid, all these people also, except for Billy Gorhan and Garcia, the former mayor of Union City. They seen right through that guy. He's meeting with all these some of them political hacks, giving them $5,000, $10,000 for the campaign. It's for the campaign. And none of them handed it into the campaign, but they were putting on their mattresses in their pockets, not telling the other people, hey, this guy wants to develop on Garfield Avenue, gave me $10,000 for the campaign. Here, put this towards the thing, and we should work with the guy. Nobody said that. Everybody kept the money. Nobody told the other guy, hey, Solomon Dweck is giving out money. No warning. So it shows how stupid we are. They just lined up these people like dominoes and took them all out because they were all friggin' greedy as it was. They were all taking money, and it's for the campaign, but they didn't put it in the campaign. They didn't hand it in. Put it on the mattress. So these people did some time. But that's what happens in Hudson County. Freeholders, remember Hudson County? We lost a freeholder for, I think it was $2,000 and a handful of Viagra. You get busted if you're corrupt in Hudson County because the focus is always on Hudson County, Jersey City. Like I said, Januszewski, got busted, did his time. He even tried to cut down the time. That didn't help him much any. That's it. So Fulop is not corrupt. You might walk to a different beat sometimes, and we're of different generations. I know that's one of the issues we sometimes have in our conversation. But corrupt, no. You might, again, you don't win every argument with Fulop. You don't win every issue. Like I've said many, many times, nobody gets the whole loaf here in Jersey City or Hudson County. But as far as corruption, not Fulop. Actually, I think the whole group we got in place now, I don't see any corruption. I know there's some YouTubers running around yelling about Stack being corrupt. Brian's another guy. They're not talking about walking to your own beat. I don't see corruption there either. But there's been allegations made of almost everybody. It doesn't happen in Hudson County anymore. If it does, you're going to jail. We have a long history of corruption and people getting busted and going to jail. Now, again, they talk about Frank Hague, the old mayor. Frank Hague made a lot of money. I'm not sure how he did. But he did a lot for Jersey City. They always said it was something like, $1 for you, $2 for me, $1 for you, $2 for me, or maybe $1 for the city, $2 for me. But he built, you walk around Jersey City, there's still the fingerprints of Hague all over. And actually, if you look around Jersey City now, you see a lot of fingerprints of Steve Fulop. So for Mikei Sherill to accuse, who, by the way, has done a tremendous job in the stock market as a congresswoman. Now, I don't begrudge anybody making a profit, making good investments. I don't know how much inside information Congress people get, maybe a lot. But Pelosi's husband made a lot of money. We send people to Congress, next thing you know, they're multimillionaires, so might be something to that. Probably shouldn't have senators and Congress people investing in stocks, because obviously there is some kind of inside information. But Cheryl was the one, she was another one. I think she made $7 or $8 million in the stock market. Pretty good. Did she get it on inside trading? I don't know. Maybe that's something that you should look into. But I will firmly reiterate, Fulop isn't corrupt. He might be a pain in the ass sometimes. That's a real possibility there. But that's not possible. He is a pain in the ass sometimes. But he has done a good job with the city, as you can see, development, your home values. Look at your home values, then you look at Fulop. You say, I said a couple of weeks ago about the house we have in Jersey City. How is the house worth like $1.25 million? I don't know. I look at it, it's a nice house. I'm going to shake my head and say, don't don't know how it's worth that. But that's how home value. That's another thing. I don't know how you correct that. The only way to make things cheaper is making the state cheaper. I'm going to talk about the city pretty soon about making things cheaper. And we're talking about on 101.5 today about young people trying to buy homes. I've talked about it on the radio. I don't know how to do that. That's the kind of thing that these candidates got to be talking about. You know, screw it. Don't worry about Trump. Trump will be there. If you become governor and you want to play around with Trump, fine. Like I said before, I'm going to ride Trump for another year before I make any decision on him. I don't know about this thing with Hollywood where he wants to put tariffs on the movies. You make a movie out of the United States, you bring it in, we want to put tariff. Everybody gets a tariff. You want icebreakers? I quit smoking. If these icebreakers come from China, I'm looking at tariffs. For that matter, there are rioting and protests going on in China right now because the tariffs, they're affecting China. And they're laying off factory workers, and they're in the streets protesting the dismissals they received. So you want to get China's attention? Trump is doing it. Let's see how that all plays out. I don't know about tariffs on movies. I'm not a tariff guy. I am an economy guy. If the economy is doing well, we all do well. If the tariffs are the way to work, let's give the tariffs a shot. Just stay away from my icebreakers gum here. All right, we're going to break for commercial. You'll listen to The City Show here on GGR. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
We're back. You listen to The City Show here, Pat O'Melia on GGR. Hoboken. Hoboken's going to do a study on parking. Are you effing kidding me? You're going to study parking in Hoboken? Who doesn't understand the situation with parking in Hoboken? They're going to do a study on it. You know it's not going to be a good study, and I tell you what, you're going to lose parking. Right now, we should put a tariff on that. Stop fooling with parking. You fool with parking, tariff. Can we have domestic tariffs? Maybe at the movies, because he wants to rebuild Hollywood, Trump. Maybe we should put tariffs on movies shot in New Jersey. You shoot in New Jersey, kind of like a foreign country almost. Put a tariff on it. Hoboken, I'm reading this, let me read this. With over 27,000 lineal feet of curbside parking in Hoboken, we manage that space directly affects the quality of life for everyone. How we manage the space directly affects the quality of life for everyone. Whether you walk, bike, take transit, drive, or operate a business, said Mayor Ravi Bala, said in a statement. This is going to be bad because the next one is, the report is a crucial step forward in helping us understand where we are today and what we can better utilize, let's put how in there, today that we can better utilize our curbside parking to ensure safer, greener, and more accessibility. That right off the bat. Then they drop Vision Zero. You should almost have the doom music kick in when you have Vision Zero mentioned. You are going to lose parking, Hoboken. They're going to do a study. You don't need any freaking study on parking in Hoboken. You got to loosen up the parking around Hoboken. It actually gets worse year to year. Every time they try to improve the parking in Hoboken, it gets worse. It doesn't get better. Now they're talking about building some garages. What happened to the robo garage? That thing was great. Used to crush your cars. You put your car in there. I'll be back at 4. Come back, your car was like it was in one of those junkyard machines. Last thing Hoboken needs to do is study it. You know what it is. Robbie, talk to me. You've been the mayor for a while. You don't know what the issue is with the parking in a mile square town? We're not talking Jersey City here. Not talking New York City. It's a friggin' mile. Frank Sinatra used to hop, skip, and a jump through town there. It's not hard to figure out what your parking problems are. Stop embracing things. Streets are for parking. You want to throw a bike lane in there that nobody uses? Go ahead. Maybe you put it in alongside the curb so we can back into the bike lane when we're parking. We do that in Jersey City. I don't know what traffic genius came up with that idea, but it's easier that way for us to hit the people on the bike when we're backing in. And we put those plastic little boulder rods in there, too. That's real protection. Like I'm not going to hit you with my Lincoln when I'm backing in with that. Soon as you hear green space, accessibility, and vision zero, you know you're losing parking. And it amazes me they're going to pay somebody to do a study on this. Or maybe they have paid somebody. And they're going to come out, we need more green space. You know, these bump outs, too. That's the big thing now. They put these bump outs, they stick out from the curb maybe about 3 or 4 feet. That cuts down the distance that somebody has to cross the street. If the 6 foot or so of the bump outs on each side means the difference between life and death of you crossing the street, then you shouldn't be crossing the street. When I was a kid, we would cross Journal Square. And I was not a quick runner. I never had speed. Even when I had knees, I didn't have speed. But I could make it from Journal Square to the island and wait for the light. And back then, the Journal Square was a lot wider than it is now. If you can't cross Kennedy Boulevard, 4 lanes. If you can't cross Kennedy Boulevard without them bump outs, you shouldn't be crossing Kennedy Boulevard. Stay on your side of the street because there's obviously something wrong with you. Maybe you have an issue with knees. Even with my knees and my cane, I can cross Kennedy Boulevard at the light and get on the other side without bump outs. Now, with the bump outs, what does it cause? Well, it causes a problem with trying to street sweep now. It's going to cause a friggin' problem when we try to snowplow. But we shorten the distance by about 6 foot. And that makes a whole world. The bodies aren't piling up on Kennedy Boulevard anymore because of them bump outs. What a waste of friggin' money. And you're going to see more of that in Hoboken because they're doing this study. I guess Robbie has tint on the windows at City Hall. You can't look out there and see the parking situation. We're gonna do a debate for the 32nd district. John Hines is organizing it. I'll produce it. And there's 6 candidates. One of the candidates, unfortunately, I'll have to let this individual in the studio. He's the only individual that is barred from our studio. I will relent and let him in just so the other 5 could debate. But that will be the last time this individual is in my studio. But I will relent on that. Now, getting back to Hoboken, they would like you to contact City Hall if you have any suggestions on parking. I can imagine the people in Hoboken with suggestions on parking there. The Board of Education, Jersey City Board of Education, they have approved $1,027,273,122 budget. It ain't done yet, folks. There's more to come. That budget is going to strangle the affordability of Jersey City. Forget about affordable housing. You're not going to have affordable housing when we have billion dollar budgets. I can't even say billion. Who has the opportunity to use the word billion anymore? Billion. We're not going to have it. No matter what we do with it. They did $1 billion budget. They didn't even try cutting one effing expense. Not a thing. Not a thing. Not one effing dime did they try to cut. Nothing. And we keep throwing money at it. We have this payroll tax. We charge people who don't live in Jersey City, who work here, have no kids in the school system, and we charge them for our school system. How is that? And it went to the courts, and the court said, yeah, it's legal. They have nothing to do with your town outside of going there to work. But yes, you can take money from them and support your school system that they'll never use because they don't live here. They have no kids in there. Speaking of that thing, it's social taxation here. If you're a senior couple, you're a single guy, single gal, you have no kids, why are you paying for school? Why are you paying the school tax? I don't know. This seems to say everything's so complicit in everything now. tax guy. Hit us with another fee. We have 39 public schools in Jersey City. We have $1 billion plus budget. When we divide that 39 schools into that $1,027,273,000 budget, as of, I'm using the figures for the student population of 2023. We have 26,300 students. When you divide the 39 schools into the $1 billion, that comes out to about $25 million a school. I want you to think about it. Now, some of these schools are bigger, they cost more, some are smaller. Like my alma mater, it's like $58 million because it's a huge school, the old PS23 on Broadway. Dickinson is another one that's $58, $60 million a year, and they're smaller schools. What's really interesting is now when you take that budget, the $1 billion plus, and you divide it by the student population of 26,300, this is according to Google, that comes out to $38,000 to educate one kid in Jersey City. Think about that. $38,000 per student in Jersey City. Now, Toms River is about an hour away from Jersey City. Nice community, township. People escape Jersey City and go to Toms River. I don't care who you meet in Toms River, there will be a Jersey City connection. Either they moved there, their parents are there, their grandparents are there. There is a Jersey City connection to everybody in Toms River. Toms River has a school population of 14,600 kids. They have a budget of $294 million. Right? Am I reading this right? Yeah. Make sure I got this. Yep. 14,000. It comes out to $21,000 to educate a kid in Toms River, as opposed to the $38,000 for Jersey City. You know, that is an amazing difference. Now, in Toms River, not like they're a bunch of knuckleheads where they're going to school and, no, they're very bright kids. They're getting scholarships. They're on honor rolls. They got good sports systems. They got good teachers. How the hell is it almost twice as much to educate a kid in Jersey City than it is in Toms River? There's something wrong here. How is it that it's 38,000 in Jersey City, and we're looking at 18,000 in Toms River? How is that possible? I don't know. Somebody's got to answer that to me. Well, let's take a break, and we'll come back with this. You're listening to the City Show here on GGR. I'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants. All major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
We're back. You're listening to the City Show here on GGR. Again, it is 30. What's the number I got here? Got that for educating a kid. $38,000 per student in Jersey City. $21,000 in Toms River. And it's a fine school system in Toms River. But it's the same thing, you know. They got the school. They're selling schools because allotments from the state is being cut. See, that's where our next governor has got to figure out how the hell we're funding these schools. First of all, we got to figure out why is it $38,000 per student in Jersey City, and it's $21,000 in Tom's River, hour away. And it's the same thing. They got schools, they got teachers, they got sports, they got labs, they got all these things going on. The kids are smart. They're getting an education. They're going to college. Not like their knuckles are dragging on the floor. They're a bunch of idiots down there, morons. No, they're good, well-educated kids. And they're doing it like almost half the price we are. For that matter, I got to get some numbers on the charter schools. But they're substantially less per student than Jersey City. And for that matter, I just read something where Texas is doing school vouchers, and they're going to give parents a school voucher. I think it's for $11,000, $12,000 a year. They can go to whatever school, public, religious school, whatever it is, as long as you get an education. All right, $12,000, and then I think it was MSNBC. It might have been Fox. I forget what show it was. And they asked the guy, "Is that enough for the tuition for the year?" Because yeah, that's just about the right number. How is that possible when I'm at $38,000 in Jersey City, and the entire state of Texas is like $12,000 a year? But I won't even go into Texas. I'm looking at Tom's River, an hour from here down the Parkway. That's probably an hour and a half for traffic. How is it like 50% cheaper? And everything's the same. It's schools, it's sports, there's lights, there's desks, there's teachers' aides, all that. What the hell happened in Jersey City? That's why, first off, we really need a forensic accounting of the Board of Education in Jersey City. But even the board members, when they approved the budget, said, there's some fugazi numbers in here. There's some shoes to drop. That's what I need. Fulop and Sherill. I'll put Russ Baraka in there. It looks like those are the top three. They got to answer to that. For that matter, I want to try to get Steve Fulop in there, and I'll reach out for Sherill also. Somebody's got to answer that question. You're smart people. You want to be the governor. Tell me why does it cost 50% less to educate a kid in Tom's River than it does in Jersey City? That's an issue. Newark Airport. I'm sure you've been reading. When this first whole thing at Newark Airport started, they said they were repaving the runways. Find out, they're concrete runways, so they're not repaving anything there. Then it turns out the technology is failing. And I think today I heard a copper wire frayed, and that knocked off the radars for 3 minutes or so. And that caused dramatic stress for the air traffic controllers, who now have to stay home and recover from the stress. That has to be figured out. It's a problem when United Airlines is telling people, avoid Newark Airport. You don't want to hear that from your airline. And I knew something was going on because I was riding up the turnpike last week. The planes were coming in from the east, and I mean, they were like, I could see the faces in the windows on the turnpike. They were going low. Maybe they were just trying to keep everybody on one runway or whatever they're doing. At night you could see the planes stacked up there. My question is, why is there no issue in LaGuardia or JFK? They're both operated by the New Jersey, New York Port Authority. No problems over there. Newark, their computers are dying. And they're losing the planes. They got voice recordings that they're releasing where the controllers are asking, are you guys out there, Flight 286? Are you still there? That's a freaking problem when these guys are asking if you're still in the air. What happened in Newark? And we just spent, the Port Authority, what you pay for with tolls, buku bucks renovating Newark Airport. We still got a Timex Sinclair computer there or something? We got a Commodore 64 that the guys are working with? How the hell, with all the money we dropped in Newark Airport in the last couple of years, we didn't upgrade the technology? It's as if we got somebody out there with flags on the runway. Come on in, baby. Those flashlights with the red cones on it, like you're on a friggin' aircraft carrier. What happened here? Why don't we have the same technology as LaGuardia or JFK? And it's the same place, New Jersey, New York Port Authority. Now the Fed's got to step in. I think the guy's name is Sean Duffy. He's only been on the job like a couple of months. He's going to have to get his ass down here and figure out what happened. The other guy was the mayor, Buttigieg. Obviously, he didn't pay any attention to technology all those years. But I would strongly recommend you fly out of New York right now or fly out of Trenton or maybe Philadelphia. This is our other show, Calling Me In. Yes, Joe, you're on the air. You outside? What's that? No, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I'm sending Garrett down. Don't worry about it. All right, we're coming to get you. Right. All right, well, as you heard, that's the next show in, the JCMUA Town Hall. Connie is fighting along with the state to close down an illegal junkyard. Now, I bet it's the one on Schuyler Avenue where I never got a good part from. You'd go out there, and we ran out of junkyards. When I was a kid, there were junkyards on Tunley Avenue. There were junkyards everywhere. I'd go get fenders, get parts of my car. Yeah, you're a kid, you didn't have money. You got no carburetor, that sort of thing. I bet it's that one on Schuyler. And I think there might only be one junkyard, and that's the one on County Road, County Avenue now, by where the old Rendy's was. But when I was a kid, I damaged my fender. I'd go to the junkyard, get another fender. I didn't even do the body and fender work, and I could do body and fender work back then. Now there's no junkyard. The last good junkyard that I remember was in Newark. It was Lacey Auto Recycling. They only call them junkyards, auto recycling. Actually, they were the first recyclers, the junkyards. But Newark and the state are going after it. How can you even have an illegal junkyard? If it's illegal, just close it down. But there's a huge cleanup. But I remember Spanish American on Tunley Avenue. Go down there, get all my parts. Run out of show. I got about 3 minutes, 40 seconds, and I got to get out of the way for the next show, the JCMUA Town Hall. New Jersey Turnpike. Over the weekend, there was some text, a tweet, somebody sent it to me, or I answered, I forget how it was. What a bunch of bull information when occurring the Turnpike widening project. First off, it just doesn't go to the Holland Tunnel. Everybody says, all our traffic is going to go to the Holland Tunnel. You're not going to widen the Holland Tunnel. Don't do this. No. It's going north and south. Commerce has to move. As we constantly keep ordering parts from Amazon and Walmart and all these other places that deliver it, we have to widen the turnpike. Plus, you're getting a new bridge going into Bayonne, which is long overdue. That bridge going to Bayonne, where it's 14A, B, C, if it fell over tomorrow, it wouldn't surprise me. I've never gone over that bridge without it being under construction. And I'm talking like 50-some-odd years now. No matter what, when I go, lanes are closed, there's the guys that are working on it. When they built that bridge in the 50s and 60s, they were pocketing the money. They couldn't put enough money in their pockets. They must have like used plastic steel or whatever. But that bridge is constant. But no, the widening project goes beyond Jersey City, north and south. They're getting a new bridge. Mayor Davis in Bayonne is like doing handstands about getting a new bridge there, because he's been riding over that bridge as long as I have. And these people keep saying the same thing. We should take that money and invest it in mass transit. First off, it's not tax dollars. That's going to be paid by tolls. You're not going to go in over to the friggin' New Jersey Turnpike and glom their billions. So we're just going to take your money and we're going to invest in a light rail that very few people use anyway. No. Widen the damn project. If you ride the turnpike, you see the truck traffic. We need to widen it. And again, it's not just all going into Jersey City. But that's the misinformation they keep selling. And my guy, Steve Fulop, Mayor Fulop, he buys into this. And he was talking about it on the campaign trail. No, it's not tax dollars. It's going to be paid by tolls. And it's not widening the project so they can run all this traffic into Jersey City. No, it's going north of Jersey City. It's going south of Jersey City. You need the new bridge over there. Stop giving people wrong information. They're acting like it's being paid by the state budget. No, it's being paid by tolls. And when you're on the turnpike and you're trying to go down the shore, you want the turnpike. Actually, they were doing some nice jobs on the parkway. I hope they start doing that again this year. They widen up the parkway. But that's all paid for by tolls. And one of the things with the turnpike, as long as they have bonds to pay off, the turnpike can charge tolls. At one point, the turnpike was supposed to be free. But can't be free because they got to keep paying off these bonds, and I got to pay off this $10 billion bond. But yes, we need the turnpike widened. So don't listen to anybody telling you it's a waste of tax dollars. First off, not tax dollars. And the second thing is, not every friggin' car is going to Jersey City. Some might go to Holland Tunnel, but most of them are going north and south. And most of that's truck traffic. All right, listen, we're at a show. Coming up behind me is the Jersey City MUA with their first town hall meeting, all live. You can call them in at 855-999-0799. I'm at a show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.